We need to see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see. And also, when you're talking about that Sombra a little bit, that's a good point, maybe with that Sombra. But we already saw Sombras being played on Route 66 today, and the EMPs were actually massive in hitting on towards 6 people, but they've not really been as effective as in Group B, for instance, where Sombras were really key to victory on Route 66. Right here, they were really easy to ignore, in my opinion. So that's a little bit unlucky. It seems like we might not have a single good Sombra in Group D today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's quite interesting. So we'll just have to wait and see how things go. I'm not sure who's going to win. CyberAthletes really impressed me with their matchup after the first game. They've really managed to turn things around. eSuba as well showed us that they challenged Iceblock GG fairly well, and so I definitely could see either team taking it. I think what we've been saying the whole time here really is that this is a very close group, much closer than probably any of the other groups, so anyone could win it.
Yep, surely. And let's just see how eSuba will do right now. They definitely will want to get their revenge against Iceblock GG again, and then I'm quite positive that they could be able to take it. I mean, the first map was quite horrible for them, so
Yeah.
without that, it could be a completely different story. But then there's also a possibility that they won't get the Temple of Anubis, so it will be a little bit of a different shot. It's just hard to say.
It will be
as
really
we
interesting
stand
to see
here.
what the pick ban phase is, because I wonder whether Temple and Anubis got through because CyberAthletes recognized a kind of opportunity, or whether that's their preferred map, or is it just a game type that they prefer playing. So we'll have to just wait and see, but I'm looking forward to this pick and ban thing.
Yeah, surely. That's going to be interesting. But for this match, also a little bit, I would focus on this picks and ban phase a little bit, because we'll see if eSuba indeed are trying to mix the picks and bans so that they get whatever they want.
Yeah.
Or was it just a little bit of, I don't know, a mistake, a mix-up, or whatever that allows the Temple of Anubis to get through?
Well, this will be interesting, but it will also be interesting to see whether eSuba adjust their team comps. Because this is really what, I mean, it's really exciting to see all the different team comps that are coming out. The more traditional dive comps that we saw yesterday from Team Singularity, the more, back in Group B, they just stuck to completely the dive comps, even though I think, that was when the patch came out, so Doomfist was available, but none of the teams had practiced him. But we still saw the more traditional comps yesterday, even though Doomfist was available. We saw some great Doomfist comps purely focused on him, used to great success by MixieMix. Today, Iceblock GG are using their own kind of combination and seem to be refining the way that they're playing. And the other teams are also trying to incorporate Doomfist or not play him as each situation demands. So, it's really exciting to just see how the meta is shifting and how these players who are really, at the top of the game are figuring it out.
Okay, so still waiting for eSuba and CyberAthletes to kick it off. And in the meantime, once again, I'm going to remind you there's a huge giveaway going. You can win some RAZER Overwatch gear right here, and it's going to be given away on the day or after the day of the online playoffs, actually, which is the 9th of August. And then we're kicking off also with our Counter-Strike Legends series. So I guess that's also some interesting news for you right there. So you can get more bets down and earn up some betties, and you can buy up some interesting items on the shop out there. But for now, kicking off with the draft. And Temple of Anubis instantly banned out by CyberAthletes. So I'm not surprised by that. But it seems like eSuba are also not saving up maps like Oasis, Ilios.
No.
Dorado's also out of the question, and Watchpoint Gibraltar all the same. Whatever's left out there. Volskaya Industries, Hanamura now banned out by CyberAthletes, so pretty much only Volskaya, and I don't think that it will get through. If not eSuba, then CyberAthletes will get rid of it.
Absolutely, yeah. So we see Kings Row was taken out pretty quickly, so we'll have to just wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up having something like Nepal, Lijiang Tower, and Route 66. Maybe Numambi gets through, but I definitely imagine Hollywood and Volskaya Industries banned out. Just given what
Could
we've
be.
seen previously, but Nepal, no, that goes out. Interesting. Hollywood's taking out now.
Still Hollywood, and actually no, nobody will have to stay if Volskaya is supposed to go, or maybe we'll get to see a Volskaya in the pool again. But luckily enough, last time it was not played after all; it was just left in the pool where it was a 2-0 in a match.
We'll just have to wait and see. Here comes the final ban, so this is going to be quite interesting. What are they most comfortable on? So they take out Route 66. Now that I didn't expect. I definitely thought a lot of teams would be more comfortable on that as opposed to the other maps. So Volskaya Industries won't be the map played. So what are eSuba? What do they want to play first?
Well, actually at this stage, I think that whatever. On Numbani they've done very well. Legion Tower also shouldn't be a bad map for them. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so that will be interesting to see how that goes. So Numbani to start it, and then CyberAthletes get to pick the next one. So we'll have to see how things go. But at the moment, I think both teams are quite evenly matched up. They're both playing very well. And yeah, well, Xerath obviously isn't able to participate in the chat at the moment because he's in game. So we'll see if he's prepared and ready to kind of implement what he's learned.
So I'm definitely going to be happy to see QB on his Tracer once again. That's one thing that I'm hyped up again about. And previously, when it was eSuba versus Ice Block, Tomcast was facing off against Superploak on very equal terms right there on these Winstons of theirs. So wondering if Naira is going to be able to pick up the challenge in here.
Yeah, no,
overall,
absolutely. Some good
I think it's a good matchup.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Here to. Well, I think it's a good matchup to see Sardis going up against Recrant. If he's gonna pick up the Soldier 76, then Poppy Fresh up against QB. Two great tracers overall. The Winstons are also looking quite tough in here, and Rizka Poston, as you said, was a very good Zenyatta. Then the question is, will Exorath also do just as well as he did?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll have to just wait and see. But it's going to be really interesting. I wanted to see. There's a lot of players on either side that I think have been playing their champions very well, but the biggest part of this game, it's not solo queue, so you've got to play better as a team, and if you're not able to coordinate that, then that's where you're going to fall against the better teams.
Yeah, surely. So we'll see. Telly also think another thing that stands out right here is that sometimes Sardis decided to play the Genji. That's Telly on the other side. And as I mentioned, Recrant could easily switch over to that Soldier 76. So once again, I think that there's going to be one team that will like the 3 DPS lineup a little bit more than the other, because I expect eSuba staying a little bit more standard, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. So that'll be interesting. And like Poppy Fresh on the Soldier 76 as opposed to the Tracer's interesting.
Oh yeah, and Recrant not playing that Soldier himself.
Yeah,
that's true. But yeah, definitely D.Va is a very important asset to have right here. And yeah, some people were asking why would anybody play D.Va in the Doomfist meta, but right now the Doomfist meta not yet shaped so much, I would say, because not everybody picks up the Doomfist, and some people are still trying to figure it out. And as Danny even showed up in the chat from Singularity from yesterday, he likes to play the D.Va against the Doomfist. He doesn't give a crap. So we could still be seeing some things like that, but on both the sides there is no trace of a Doomfist, so D.Va's will be
it will be. And I think, to be honest, whilst D.Va's defense matrix doesn't necessarily block Doomfist's attacks, she's still a very strong champion, and if she's able to shut him down, like if he's not able to hit the attacks that he needs to, she can output a lot of damage and follow him with that mobility. So, but it's definitely not that much of a counter. But as we see here, Sardis with the support of the Mercy is doing quite a lot of damage, and eSuba are just coming out quite aggressively with some good shots, charging up. But unfortunately, they lose a couple of people, but they're just looking to charge up their ultimates. But a nice pick with Sarkis there.
All right. Kunota and Netsuko are just continuing the attack, and it seems like they might very easily be able to take over the payload. So eSuba showing some strength, and as I said, they will be outraged by their loss against Iceblock GG. They will want to get further and further in these brackets, but unfortunately, yes, they already landed in the losers. They're going to have to play a lot of matches in order to get there, and that's something that we've seen in Group A, if I'm not mistaken. The one team coming in from the losers brackets was asking for a longer pause at the ending because they had to play 6 maps in a row already, and they were completely exhausted. So that's the danger for eSuba, that the same thing might happen.
Absolutely, and that is a big thing, and like also being able to watch and the other teams play and kind of prepare your strategies quite calmly is definitely something that can't be underestimated. So we'll have to see. So, but eSuba coming out to quite a good start, and if they're able to just get those quick 2-0s, that's definitely to their advantage. Sabis are just going around, and I would have thought that they would have swapped, but they're doing so well. And look at this rain from above, 2 kills, great play. Tomkis gets the 3rd kill, Sardis gets another kill, and Recrent's only able to get the 1 kill. So we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, the rest of the team is coming around, but I'm very impressed by the way that eSuba used that. I wonder if he'll stay on this. It definitely looks like he's staying on the Pharaoh. Interesting.
Yep, for quite a bit of time, and well, let's see. They do have a raid, so that's very understandable. Maybe Sardis just cannot find a good enough opportunity for himself to die, and he just doesn't want to suicide. I mean, with the momentum that they have right now, it would be unwise to actually show the enemies that you're dying, swapping the heroes around. Just go with the flow, and if it's working, then make it work until the end.
Absolutely, and I think that's a very good point there. But the way that they're moving this payload way easier than I expected, to just get through the tunnel so quickly. Now, obviously, that difficult point will be getting around the sides, but they have the explosion coming out. Konanta managed to get Hazer, which is a bit surprising. Tell hasn't really shown up, and Tomkis shut him down. Previously, Tell was doing a lot more damage on his Genji, but he hasn't been able to get that momentum forward. Poppy Fresh manages to get a couple of kills, which is good to see. So they have finally managed to put together a bit more of a defense. But it does seem like CyberAthletes sometimes struggle at the start, and that's what we saw, but they managed to turn it around on the other maps. But still, 4 minutes and 40 seconds is huge to just be there to get that final little checkpoint.
Okay, so there we go. 4 minutes 30 seconds, huge time bank as mentioned, and Xoreth is actually being attacked by a Genji. That's real dangerous out there. As we said, finally Tele's starting to get some good opportunities, some good situations for himself, but it's not able to run away from QB. And with that death, it could be the beginning of a good team fight in favor of the attacking now team. eSuba are pushing further and further, some more casualties on the other side. Hazer pushing the Tracer back as quickly as possible so that he doesn't die, but Xoreth even reaches him with that Zenyatta. If you just look at the aggression from the Zenyatta, Xoreth getting in straight into the faces of the enemies. Now self-destruct isn't even gonna hold them back really, because they were staying on the payload. They're still pushing him. Now one big team fight is enough for them to close out this map with a huge time bank, and already picking up a big challenge for the enemy team, getting 3 points.
Yeah, no, this is huge. They're already pushing forward so closely, but Poppy Fresh is in a good position, gets a couple of kills, and it looks like CyberAthletes aren't ready to just give up. But the aggression coming out of eSuba, and they're really looking to shut things down. I'm really surprised actually, but it's great to see that sort of play. And we'll have to see. Now they're about to regroup. They're so close. It's about 4 meters away, but one final push, and if they can get a good fight, they're all really close to their ultimates. They should be getting all of them pretty shortly. Yep, there we go, 4 of them up. They've already managed to get 3 people down. Here they come out, and now this should be the final push, because on the other side the ultimates are just so far out. Tails trying to make something happen, but he's eliminated by Xerath, and they are pushing that payload forward.
Yep, it very much could be it for this map, although still holding it back for as long as possible. Tactical visor from Poppy Fresh too. That could change a little bit. No defense matrix to soak it up from Kunhuta, so he has to lose the mecha out there though. A transcendence from a Zenyatta that's completely away from his team. A little bit unlucky of a situation, though he manages to survive, that's right. But they're still not able to push it further. I mean, come on, you're getting all these kills, and it's just 1 meter away, but They don't have it. Fine, man, but 30 seconds too much.
Still, 2 minutes and 23 seconds to go, but yeah, that did take a long time to finish up, but I think it's just the design of the Numbani map. It just favors the defensive team at the very end. They can be very hard to get that final push, but that was huge. 2 minutes and 23 seconds left on the clock. It's going to definitely be tough for CyberAthletes to pull this off, and I wonder what they're going to do and how, if they'll be able to. I'm not sure if QB is joking with the Tureborn, but we've definitely seen Tureborn be pulled out in certain maps as a defensive option. He can be very annoying, but I doubt it, especially given the player that QB is.
Okay, then let's kick it off with offers from the other side. I'm curious what the CyberAthletes can bring up right here, because we've not really seen some amazing Dragon Blades from Tele. Poppy Fresh, I'm not too sure if he should stay on that soldier really, because the Tracer was so much better. Once again, we're going back to the issue that Too Easy had. He always wanted to play the Tracer when his soldier was better. This time it's the reverse situation. He's trying to play the soldier when Tracer is just outstandingly good. So there's still a good possibility for CyberAthletes to actually take it back to get to the overtime rounds very easily, but with 2 minutes 20 seconds time bank, it's going to be tough to really equal the situation here.
Well, he's definitely heard you, and he's decided to swap over to a Doomfist, so that will be interesting, because this is something that initially, when I was talking to a couple of high-level players, what they were saying is that Doomfist can replace the Tracer if played correctly. So, but nope, they're swapping back over to...
But Tracer, not Soldier, so I'm glad.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see.
Maybe that will be the key. So for now, a little bit of poking around. Sada is getting as much ultimate as possible out there. Already sitting on 20%. And the first death on Hazer is Saliba. Then they're losing people themselves. The defense not holding off. And 3 people already down. Could it be just as quick of a first point capture as it was just a while ago? No, Kunoda is coming back with some kills from himself. Tomcast still standing out. There would have been a great asset, but it's not the case anymore. And maybe a Tracer's going to come back just in time. Just contesting it so long by Kunoda is an amazing achievement. And Yeeman almost called the mecha again. Come on, are you joking? What a play from him. And eSuba are just putting up a great deal up against CyberAthletes. CyberAthletes, I think that they themselves might be astonished by what's happening, because they're cutting the enemies down one after another, but nothing's really happening.
Yeah, somehow it seems to be like 1v2, 1v3, and yet eSuba is just not dying, but at the end it was too good to be true, and they managed to capture the payload. So now they've got to escort it further down. Poppy Fresh is already impressing a lot more on this Tracer than he was, or having a larger impact, should we say, on the map already. We're looking at QB though, because he's got his pulse bomb ready and charged up, and we've seen how deadly he can be. We'll have to wait and see. So Extrath is sitting in the back, and I love watching a very aggressive Zenyatta, because the amount of damage it can do, and if they know how to shoot their orbs out in the right way and getting those headshots, it's a lot of fun to watch.
So asking for a pause right now, no idea what's going on. But in the middle of the team fight right there, doesn't seem like anybody's AFK. They're continuing self-destruct right in the middle from Kunohutai. Isn't gonna catch anybody out, but just because the pulse bomb's taken out Hazer, and earlier on there, Netco was also able to land a kill of his own. Regret now forced to fall back. That will be it for their push for now. But they took the first point not so late, so they still should be happy with what kind of time bank they have. And what now?
Yeah, we'll have to just wait and see that. We now have had to pause the game. We're not entirely sure what has happened there, so we're just gonna have to check it out. But yeah, I mean, CyberAthletes definitely managed to grab that first point quicker than I expected, but somehow eSuba were able to hold on, which is definitely credit to them. I wonder what's going to happen. We're gonna have to just wait and see a little bit to see what is going to see what they're saying. Okay.
So now CyberAthletes slightly on the back foot, and I'm already like going out with my thoughts into what's gonna be next. Lee Jung Tower, who's gonna have the edge right there? I feel like eSuba. And what about Volskaya Industries? Will anybody want to pick that? CyberAthletes, might they try to do that? Or actually, is it worth it to do it against the eSuba, who have proven to be the champions of Temple of Anubis? It might very well be that Volskaya is also just as good for them.
Yeah, well, this is the thing with CyberAthletes. They managed to surprise us quite a bit, whereas, you know, like from the initial game, I would have been like, oh, that's fine, would have dismissed them, and, you know, okay, they unfortunately just aren't good enough and they were going to lose. But then suddenly they managed to turn things around and bring it back on and challenge the other teams. So I definitely don't think eSuba can take it easy and underestimate CyberAthletes, because they have shown us how good they are. But the issues we've had is that, unfortunately, there was some lag issues, but things have been fixed. So things are ready, and we should be going back on. Poppy Fresh had some really high ping for some reason. I don't know. Maybe he's a big fan of Team YP and something was going on in the background. But here we have it. We're back in, and Sardis, watching him doing a bit of damage. Poppy Fresh now with the lower ping should be able to do a lot more damage, but he's now suddenly into a little fight. He's had to back off, but Sharp, has he got the advantage and got the Orb of Discord, managed to eliminate Exarath though, and it's back to being his annoying self.
Well then, Kunhut had their echo right in the faces of the enemies, and actually the rest of the team is dishing out the damage, so it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Oh, a very good Transcendence gonna hold everybody alive right now so they can turn it all around, but Pulse Bomb shuts down Hazer. So one supportive ult was already used up and the other support is dead. Now that might be a little bit of a problem because he had the sound barrier already charged up, so the payload's not gonna be pushed any further for a moment, but then it goes through.
Yeah, we'll have to see how things go here. But it's been interesting to watch these games because they've been very different from yesterday's games, where they were much cleaner and much more forced. These teams are much closer in skill level, and we're watching Exarath just try to put out a Transcendence on the payload to help his team out, and Sardis is able to get a double kill there. Exarath manages to pick one up and Tomkas picks up the other, so that was 4 down on the side of CyberAthletes for a little while there, enabling eSuba to hold up their defense for a bit.
Okay then. Indeed, just throwing the enemies back as quickly as possible and as far as possible right here is definitely going to help eSuba a lot. The payload's got to be pushed back a tiny bit, just one losing team fight is going to be enough, though, I think, for CyberAthletes to get that second point. But you can already see that the time bank is a little bit lower, and it won't be better because getting the third point is an extremely hard task to do. So if it's gone down below the 2 minutes and 20 seconds, we can already say that CyberAthletes are going to have a worse time after the first round. But the question is, will they be able to get the third point? That's the first thing that they have to achieve. Then worry about the time bank. A good Transcendence once again, an offensive one this time, and now is starting to rack up the kills on that monkey of his. Now launching the Primal Rage from the other side, it's going to be Tomkas hopping in, but he's already lost half of his HP. Kunhut has nearly lost the mech, and now it's gone, and it's going to be a problem for Tomkas to stay alive out there all alone. But QB's staying inside the orb too, so the shield's helping out so much, and he's going to jump away into safety as Tomkas dies. QB actually got shot down by Hazer, unfortunately, because I thought that he would be the annoying guy that just contests over and over again. But there we are, back into 2 to 3.
2 minutes and 45 seconds or 40 seconds now left on the clock for the CyberAthletes. But you know, we can talk about the timing and everything, and it might be tougher for them, but suddenly we've seen them where we thought, okay, this is going to be really hard for them, and they suddenly win a fight and just push it all the way through. So you can't just try to predict what they expect, and they never seem to deliver what we imagine they might be. But the ultimates are building up on the side of eSuba and on the side of CyberAthletes, but neither has a huge advantage, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. So they're just trading kills back and forth. Poppy Fresh is definitely sitting around the corner there, putting out a couple of good shots. Kunta just diving in, trying to duel against the other D.Va, so it's some D.Va on D.Va action right there. And QB getting ready to die from Tel.
Okay, That's big, because this could now be... Yeah, well, they will just push it further, and they will end up being like 3 meters away. And how long will it last? When will they win the next team fight? 1 minute 40 seconds. That's what I would bet. The best time they could get was 1 minute 30. It's not even going to be that. But they're looking for some good targets for themselves. Now he's jumping into the backline. He's not going to bring down the Ana. They hide in the respawn. So unlucky. Exhausting the entire timer of that Dragon Blade. Not to even get a single elimination. But now Tomcat is gone. And Kunhuta, though, with the self-destruct, zones everybody away and evens the tides again. And now that's going to be Nyra asleep completely as that Winston appears. But then he's going to jump in towards Exorat and will get the kill. You have to get rid of him without the Winston on the enemy team. They will be able to exhaust the time bank very efficiently indeed. It falls below 1 minute before they group up, before Winston's even respawned. It will take another 20 seconds. So the best timer they can get right now is like 20. And I probably, if they are to get the 3rd point, it's probably going to be an overtime.
But they very nearly actually got it right there. Like, that was huge from CyberAthletes. They got so close, and luckily and skillfully, eSuba were able to create a bit of defense, but it's definitely very dangerous. We have QB sitting on the side there getting ready to do some damage. CyberAthletes are pushing in aggressively, but wonder what's going to happen, because here Sardis pulls out his ultimate, and he manages to get 1 crucial kill. 2 down now, no healers. QB gets another kill. So is that going to be it for CyberAthletes? It looks like it might be, with 3 down and only 3 alive and 10 seconds left on the clock. It's definitely going to be hard. Exorath has his nano boost, which if they throw it on the right person is going to be huge. And he does.
Comcast. Actually, I'm not too sure if this is the best target right now for them, but might as well be better than any other. On single targets, it's not going to be too useful. On a Genji, not really going to be too useful on anybody else right there. But still, Nyra is jumping around with that Winston of his. Well, he's going to jump in and do a lot of area of effect damage, but he's not able to stay alive for way too long. The sound barrier is also going down, and what is he going to do with that Dragon Blade? Telling actually brings down Exorat, but it was enough with the Lucio's barrier taking on all of them. They have way too much HP for that Genji to chunk through, and indeed the first map goes over to eSuba, and they had a very good round number 1. That's why they were able to hold on to it without any overtimes or anything too serious happening to them. But it's still, I wouldn't say that it's one-sided necessarily.
No, not at all. I think CyberAthletes were able to perform quite well, and look at this, we're going to actually manage to see a support player of the match. Great. And I was saying earlier, I love watching a good Zenyatta, and here it is. Look at this, saving the team, and I think he even manages to get a kill himself just for the play. There we go, that headshot coming through, another kill coming through for him. Great play by Exorath. 53% kill participation.
That's the thing. I also mentioned how important the Zenyatta ults were, and that's just one highlight of them. I can tell you already that we could make like 3 to 5 highlights of these Zenyatta ults out of this single map alone, and that's definitely good for both these teams. And we're going into Lijiang Tower. I would never expect somebody to pick up Volskaya as a second map. Yeah. Let's see how CyberAthletes are going to do right here, because this is probably their best chance. If eSuba get to this Volskaya Industries, I believe that they're the masters of these weird maps. They all have their extended map pools. They're always prepared to surprise people, and that's where they will exceed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have a slight issue with Tomkas's mic at the moment, so we're just having to wait until he fixes that. But yeah, I understand why they pick Lijiang Tower as a more traditional map, and it gives an opportunity. And CyberAthletes played it quite well, or managed to play the control in Nepal quite well. So we'll have to just wait and see what ends up happening here. But that was a good first game from eSuba, especially on the offense. And that's the interesting thing. Like, when we look at other games, the most easiest to compare is Counter-Strike. You know, you have some teams that are very good at being the terrorist side, or better being at the counter-terrorist side, and they're well known for that, and that's where they need to get their advantages. It seems like in this way you need a lot more balance, but eSuba seem to be better at the offense than they are at the defense on certain maps and opening up, whereas CyberAthletes seem to be all over the place. I can't predict what they're going to be good at or what they're going to be bad at, because every time I go, ooh, they're not doing so well and this must be it, suddenly they have one ultimate, the other team has 5, and they turn the fight around and they move the payload nearly to the end. And then when they should win it, they don't. So it's just impossible to really predict.
Yeah, that's true what you're saying right here. Definitely CyberAthletes, a little bit of a mystery, although with eSuba going in seriously like this, you have to be really good on every side, on every map to be able to beat them. And right now we will be playing Caseking Tower, so you don't really have the attacking or defending side out here. You only have to capture the point, and it's in non-stop skirmishes, non-stop battles. So
no, absolutely, it's going to be really exciting.
If they just don't start too well, I guess we can already say that it's over for them, which is a little bit scary.
Oh, I mean, yes. I mean, well, it's still 3 rounds, so we'll have to wait and see how things go. But there is definitely. I think the thing about Caseking Tower is that there's real opportunity to be completely shut out, and especially if a bit of momentum ends up going to one team. It can be very deadly, but it looks like Tel might be taking the Doomfist, which would be interesting because he's been glued to that Genji so far.
I think that he was also hovering over the Doomfist a couple times before, but yeah, that's very much likely. If Regrant wasn't playing the Soldier last time, it was Poppy Fresh. They weren't touching the Soldier at all when Poppy Fresh switched over to the Tracer.
Yep.
I guess that they're quite flexible, so that can change.
Which is great to see on a team, because we've definitely seen some of the tier 1 teams where have that flexibility, where they're able to swap maybe an off healer to a DPS when they need it, and vice versa. So that flexibility and just being able to play the game in so many different ways is so key. But we're opening it up with QB, who's darting around, and oh no, we're swapping over to Sardis, who's just doing some deadly shots. And is he going to be able to get a kill there? We've already seen Tel get 2 kills with the Doomfist, so that was a great pick at the start. Poppy Fresh taking out Compass, so that's 3 down on the side of eSuba, and it looks like CyberAthletes might be able to capture the point at the start. So this is great for them, because as you're saying, you're worried that they might get shut down, but it doesn't look that way at all.
Okay, that's a good start for sure, and I like it. They're going for the triple DPS comp right here. Recred once again just showing even more of that versatility out there, playing so many different heroes all the time, which again, Tele also is something different than Genji, but then he gets finished off by Sardis. And also another thing why it's not so easy for eSuba to actually take the point might be that they're sporting a Fire and Mercy right here, simply. So they have 2 less heroes to really go into that point and fight inside, while the Pharaoh and Mercy will have to fly around, rather.
Absolutely, I think that is, and actually I just watched Tel completely miss his skills, so that was quite embarrassing. None of you managed to see it, but it was very funny. But here we have a couple of the ultimates are set up on the side of, they just dropped the Pulse Bomb. Poppy Fresh manages to get 1 kill, but it's just kills going back and forth, and they're so closely Suba to capturing the point, but I'm not sure if they're actually going to get it, whereas CyberAthletes are already 50% over it, but they are 3 down, and it's so close to being captured, but they're just contested and skirmishing over it. And I don't know who's going to win out at the end here.
What? Sardis was behind the window, he was just hovering around the building, and now we're still, without even jumping, managed to kill him with the auto attack. I feel like it was just such a huge mistake from Sardis out there, but well, whatever, now they will regroup, and maybe next time it's going to work out, but it has to, because it's already ticking on towards 80% and more.
Yeah, we're at 80%, and that was, I think, one of the best shots that eSuba had at capturing the point, but it looks like they might be getting shut out instead of CyberAthletes. So Sardis up top, just trying to do the damage. We can see the ultimate coming out of Lucio, trying to buy them a little bit more time. Tonkis, though, manages to get another kill, so that's 2 down on the side of CyberAthletes, but we saw this happen last time, and it didn't actually mean that eSuba were able to win it, so now we're in overtime, and let's fighting over the point. eSuba are looking to capture it, and I think they will secure it at this time. So 99% for CyberAthletes, but they're not able to take the win.
Yep, and they're going to continue like that. And we already saw some real intense points right there on 99% in both the sides, indeed, in some of the previous matches. So why not experience some more of that action? But sticking with the Fire and Mercy, not necessarily sure if that's what I want to see for the most part. The triple DPS is something that I just prefer a little bit more, but what a Rocket Barrage getting a double kill, and then straight into a res to keep that Pharah alive. Into a tactical visor. So many ults stacked up right there to just keep the enemies away, to build up at least a 50-60% for themselves. They will have it.
Yeah, no, we'll see it, and it's coming up, and they're doing quite well. So this is definitely worth 40%. So I don't think CyberAthletes should be too stressed. They have an opportunity to come back, and it's still fairly early, but they can't give too much to eSuba. QB tries to get a good stick, and he does manage to take out Poppy Fresh, but not much more than that. But it looks like, yep, they take out Tell, and a very odd Zenyatta ult. I don't know. Yeah, that was a very not sure that was worth it, to be honest.
Possibly trying to save himself right there, as he was a little bit surrounded by the enemy DPS, but all of the rest of his team actually suiciding right now, so not necessarily sure if it would not have been better to just save it up. Anyway though, now some good concussive blasts are also coming in, so that the enemies have to use up all their mobility to get out of their of the abyss, out of their death really. And once again, one last push it seems. Both the teams will go down to 99% most likely. Let's see, the Zarya's bombs are definitely delivering a ton of damage. Self-destruct is not getting a single kill. QB once again trying to build it up, but then he instantly gets killed by RAZER. There's the tactical visor, but a res also only on a single person. Wondering if that's a good call. Poppy Fresh, oh, he's gonna be knocked out of the map, so the visor did not really allow him to get too much done, and there's nobody to trigger the OT. 1-0 in favor of eSuba. Actually, it's kicked off so well for our CyberAthletes, and I have to say that I am also a little bit disappointed here.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed as well, and surprised, especially because we didn't see it that much on screen, but as an observer, I was able to see QB, who was darting in a lot to try and get flanks, but Poppy Fresh and Tell were able to read him really well and shut him down. So there were some individual really good plays coming from the CyberAthlete, but they weren't able to crack the defense of eSuba. So I'm quite surprised it's 1-0, but we'll just have to... We'll see what happens in this second matchup. But eSuba definitely want to try and push this. As you said, they've got a number of matches to go before the finals. They don't want to be drained and tired, and they don't want to start taking these matches 3 games every time. But the skirmishing is starting, and we're watching QB. Let's see what he can do. Just a bit of damage. Everyone's poking, building up their ultimates while they're waiting for the point to unlock. QB seeing an opportunity to take out Newar and jumps on it for that first blood. Then darting in, look at that, a really key kill on to Zenyatta, then takes out RAZER, and Poppy Fresh is taken out as well. So some really good play coming out of QB and eSuba for that dominant start. The point is open, and they jump onto it.
Yeah, the dominant start, that's ended quite one-sidedly, this team fight, I've got to tell you. And, well, a lot of the ultimates are starting to be charged up. I'm really waiting for the Pulse Bomb. QB's got some huge Pulse Bombs already in this matchup too. And also the previous ones, he was just such a good Tracer overall. Now, Xorth is also charging up the Transcendence, so that will be pretty close. And when the next team fight happens, then the one person that could have had the ultimate on the other side was Poppy Fresh. And he gets eliminated as soon as he gets into the vicinity, into the area. A good burst from that Zenyatta, some headshots actually kicking in out there, and that's going to be it. Once again, just closing off the team fight with a single kill pretty much. Overall, just 2 happening really.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see Recruit on the Genji as opposed to Tell, and they seem to be prioritizing these type of DPS in. But I don't know if it's working out so much for them, and whether they could go for more tanky DPS as opposed to these. But QB, really great positioning from him, darting in and understanding where the priority targets are. Unable to get a kill with that Pulse Bomb, but it's okay. Sardis with the Dragon Blade ready. I wonder if he's going to use it, but actually decides that he doesn't even need it. And that's 4 down on the side of CyberAthletes. So they're definitely struggling with this second match.
Okay, then right now 70% and even more taking down right now. This is going to go down to this one team fight, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that they would have gotten any more chances anyway, but what's most important is that they have the ults. 5 ults are probably going to be available for this fight. There is also a chance that all 6, if Naiwa charges up that Primal Rage quickly enough. So there we are from both the sides. The ultimates are going down. Some sound barriers, some transcendences, another transcendence thrown down, and all the supports are already out, but the DPS are not able to get the damage in. Not a single kill going down just yet, and even okay, I was waiting for the kills off of that Graviton Surge, and actually Canuta and Xerath are getting them. And once again, not even an overtime. What is happening right here? Why is it so easy to close the points out for eSuba at the end?
Yeah, well, I mean, CyberAthletes supports really layered their, they did their job, you know, they layered their ultimates really well. We had the Transcendence, then we had the Sound Barrier. There wasn't a moment of downtime, but the DPS just wasn't there at all, and we see Tell straight away drop the Doomfist, go back to the Genji, and Recrunt get off the Genji and go back to the Soldier 76. And this is what I mean, I'm not entirely sure that it made sense to have a Genji and a Doomfist there. I think they definitely needed something a little bit stronger with a little bit more health to push in and do that damage. But great reactions from eSuba to wait out the damage, to survive the DPS that was coming out, and then to turn around and get that quick triple kill. And I too was waiting to see that Pulse Bomb get a double or triple, but it wasn't meant to be. So here we are, we're seeing Tell back on his familiar Genji, and we'll see if he can do something, or whether QB will be able to get those opening kills like he was. But no, it's a Zenyatta against Zenyatta. There can only be one.
Good start. Canuta and Tomcas are going to continue it up, and right now, well, the Zenyatta that got the opening kill is getting right there ganged on by 2 people, 3 people even. Sidus joins in the fray, and that's still nobody making any moves towards the pointers. Finally, eSuba are going to be standing on top of it with 4 heroes of the lineup out there, so that surely is a good start to open it up once again. They'll start taking in to like at least 20% before somebody from CyberAthletes is able to get there.
Yeah, no, this is quite worrying on the side of CyberAthletes, because this will be it. If they lose this, they're out of the tournament. We'll have to see. I mean, the performance has been good, so they should feel some pride, but they definitely need to fight a bit more. But then look at them putting together an offensive. They're pushing in. Will they be able to? But no, look at that reaction from eSuba. Everyone knows who they're taking out, and it's a team wipe, and they lost no one. Wow.
Yep, a great team kill, a great swift strike first of all, though, to cut off the Tracer. As soon as the Tracer's gone down, there was nobody to really pick their focus apart. There was nobody blinking around the team fight. As you said, they had the clear focus on, and that's been the key in here, in my opinion, for sure. Now Canuta has the ultimate. That Gravity Surge could be going down anytime soon. Dragon Blade's also ready. The Sound Barrier's there, and there we go. All of them are launching in. The Pulse Bomb also goes off. But from the other side, actually, Poppy Fresh not being able to counter the enemies at all. Now we're already committing suicide out there, and all of them just realize that the team fight's over. They're gonna get another one. And if this one is a quick one, they might have yet another shot after, but are they fighting for the chances to team fight, or are they fighting for the victory right here? That's the question.
They were so, eSuba were being so aggressive that Recrunt had to actually run back into spawn to be able to survive. That's like the domination that's coming out of eSuba. And this is really the, I would have to point out the failure here is not the supports. Hizia and Riskoposten have actually made sure that CyberAthletes have survived as long as possible. Even when Canuta was able to get a great ultimate, no one died from it because of Riskoposten's Transcendence, which was perfectly timed and followed up by Hazes. But the rest of the team just isn't stepping up, and this is why eSuba takes an easy 2-0 win.
Yeah, I just don't know how to sum it up. eSuba coming up huge on the Lijiang Tower for sure, and it was actually pretty close to the money. It wasn't so far apart. However, the 2 minutes time bank, yeah, that might have shown how big of a difference it was at the end of the day. Tomcats getting that play of the game, and overall just play of the game today has been failing a little bit, I like to say. Because we had some amazing situations with Doofus dropping on top of a Graviton Surge but not getting a play, whatever.
40
anyway,
kills from Tomcats, before
effort.
I forget. 40 kills from Tomcats and 63% kill participation. That's huge. It's a shame CyberAthletes are out now, but I think they should feel proud of themselves. They managed to give a bit of a... They showed that they can compete. You know, unfortunately, they lost the first game with no points. But they managed to come back and give a real challenge, win a couple of matches against KGSL, and actually challenge eSuba, where we actually thought they would end up taking the first match. But they are out, and with that, eSuba wins the match and will go on to face KGSZL in the round 3. So for now, we'll be taking a 5-minute break, and we'll be back for that match after that.